everybody. Welcome to TL's Roadhouse. So good to be here with you. My friend Walker Montgomery is in the house.
Good to be here, man.
It's good to see you, my friend.
Great to see you, man.
Man, we have a lot more history than people realize, man.
Yeah,
It goes back to your childhood.
Yeah.
So your father was my label mate in the early
Yeah.
90s, all the way through the 90s. John Michael Montgomery, man.
Yes, sir. Atlantic Records.
Atlantic Records, man. It was me and John Michael and Neil McCoy and Confederate Railroad. Gosh. We were kind of the four guys. We were the guys that pretty much did everything on that label. That was fun times back then.
Well, it's amazing that, a label that small, relatively small.
We were basically a glorified independent label.
Yeah. I mean, just throwing out powerhouses, man. And everybody's still playing shows.
Yeah.
It's awesome. But no, like I said, Dad says hey, and y'all need to get on the road again, do some shows together.
I'd love that, and I love your uncle, man. Eddie and I are
he's the
still
best,
close, man.
God only made one of them,
That's probably for the best.
Yeah, everybody's always like, you got the crazy uncle and stuff. I'm like, well, I got the craziest. So, he's a great guy, man. I'm lucky to have, as interesting as it is growing up with the two famous people in your life. They made it real normal to grow
But
up.
not only that, I mean, you have a deep musical history with like your grandfather and a lot of other people. I know there was a bar that John and Eddie played. Didn't your dad work there? Was he in the house band there or something?
So it was Austin City Saloon in Lexington, Kentucky. And, when he was growing up and stuff, his dad would take him out to play and stuff. First song, he always tells a story. First song, his dad got him up there, played Margaritaville and stuff. So, but no, they finally got the house band at Austin City Saloon in Lexington, Kentucky, 5 nights a week, probably 88, 89, 90. And then they just kept on playing it until Atlantic came in the picture. Estel Sowers was a guy who came and found Dad, and then he brought Rick Blackburn in and everything like that, who obviously And but yeah, so that was their gig, man, until Dad got his deal, and then they never moved from Nashville or anything. Troy was the only one who moved. Yeah, and
Eddie worked for your dad selling merchandise.
He did.
That's how I met Eddie in the early 90s. He was doing the swag stuff.
Now I don't know how seriously Eddie took the merchandise sales, right? But he might have.
I'm sure he indulged in the perks of the job.
Yeah, I guarantee it. But then him and Troy got together and then lightning struck again. But no, I've heard some stories about Eddie on the road selling merch with Dad, and I guarantee you, I'm glad there was no cell phones back then.
Yeah, me and him and Eddie and T-Roy and all of us are really glad there were no cell phones back then.
Yeah, no doubt. No, they had some good times, man. They're real close, and they got a funny brother relationship. Tell you what,
being somebody that's raised kids in this business, and we've had challenges with our children. I mean, this is not an easy way, and you think at least for me as a child growing up in a small town. I mean, I dreamed about it my whole life, but you don't realize the effects that it has on the people that you love. And my kids didn't ask to be in it. They were born into it. So it came with its challenges and its bumps along the way and struggles with finding real friendships and wondering if people like you for you. How did you deal with those challenges growing up?
Man, I mean, look, it's tough. Like you said, I couldn't imagine what my parents went through, especially when we were really young.
Yeah.
And
he's gone all the time,
all the time. I mean, when I was born, we lived in a log cabin in Nicholasville, Kentucky, and there was a creek behind it, right? And I mean, there were people canoeing up to the creek, trying to take pictures of our house and stuff like that. And that was when Dad was, really rocking. And, but no, man, it was tough. My mom's a saint of saints. You've met her and everything. But they want so much for you just to have the normal childhood, right? And with their profession, it's kind of tough.
And there's challenges that come with that too. I mean, when my wife and I started having kids, I mean, we made a conscious decision to remove all the plaques and the trophies and the memorabilia. We didn't want them growing up in all that stuff. So I don't think they really comprehended a lot of it. So you try so hard to shield and protect, but in some ways that causes its own set of problems too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they might should have done that for me. I remember I stole one of Dad's CMAs one time for second grade show and tell. And I
You just
shoved,
borrow
I
it.
shoved it in my backpack, man. And he comes home. He's like, son, where is, the 1994, whatever. Where was I like, I didn't know I was supposed to take that. But no, it look, you kind of they wanted us to know what was going on, right? But still be removed enough to where we had a normal childhood. And growing up in Kentucky, it was a whole lot easier. I couldn't imagine growing up like downtown Nashville.
Oh my
or
gosh,
something.
no! Even for us, where we live now, that we built on some other adjacent property, but when we lived just a little bit up the street, that was back when the tour buses used to come by.
Yeah.
So we were on the route for the tour buses. We'd get up in the morning and they'd be unloading, 50 people off this bus right in front of the house, or standing out there taking pictures while you're trying to get out and go function and do your normal.
Wild.
It's wild, man.
Yeah.
It's a hard thing to adjust to, and a lot of people look at it and say, "Well, you know what you're getting into," but you really don't.
You don't.
You don't.
You don't. I mean, I have an idea, but it's so different now than it was.
And as you get older, especially stepping into it from your perspective, you got a much different perspective. My kids have adjusted as they've gotten older. Mm-hmm. Was it more difficult for your sister?
She can sing better than anybody in our family. She's an amazing singer, but she just never really had interest in doing crowds or anything like that. So she really removed herself from that kind of world at a younger age than I did. I mean, I got on stage one time and I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Right. I got the bug. But she probably didn't really struggle with it a lot.
Well, it affected her mentally, I think, because she married Travis.
Well, that's
true. I mean, there's got to be something wrong.
Their crazies match each other. That's what I say. No, I'll tell you what, man. They're like a match made in heaven, man.
I love him, man.
Dude, Travis, he's the funniest guy. This is a sweetheart of a person, man. But no, it is funny because it's like she really did. She tried to get away from like any kind of music industry, right? And then ends up marrying a country singer, right? But
he's got a great sense of humor, though. What a funny guy he
dude.
is. He really is.
It's so funny. He'll say some stuff, and it's just, the whole room is just laughing their ass off.
You can't help it. It's awesome.
It's awesome. He's a great guy, but she's great too. They make a good team. But yeah, it was definitely an interesting life growing up. But like I said, growing up in Kentucky made it a whole lot easier.
Yeah,
you were just removed from it.
So the first time you got on stage, how old were you?
I was 16 because I just got my license, and it was like one of the first times I've driven.
Did you start doing guitar lessons and taking lessons, or are you just picking up stuff around the house?
By the time I got into it, we had a bunch of old Takamine guitars around, and I'd just find stuff on YouTube, right? But I never was like theory on guitar. I just wanted to learn the songs that I like.
Yeah.
So I'd learn the chords and stuff like that, and of course, when I'm 16. You're just doing cover songs anyway, right? So I'd do 3 hours at Proud Mary's Honky Tonk down on the river in Richmond, Kentucky, and they'd give me $100, and I'm like, well, good Lord, I'm rolling in it, man. 16-year-old, and but yeah, so I never took like a lot of lessons or anything like that, vocal lessons or anything, but I was able to. I'm surprised I don't play left-handed, to be honest with you, because Dad always talks about Phil Mickelson, right? Golf. He watched his dad swinging a golf club, and he would try to emulate it. And I would do that with Dad. So he'd play his guitar, and I'm surprised that I didn't get a left-handed guitar or something.
Wow.
And just try to,
Can you play either way?
Oh, God, no.
I was fixing to say, that's pretty complicated right there.
But no, I'd watch him, and he'd teach me some licks and stuff like that. But mainly it was just learning songs that I liked.
Yeah. That's pretty awesome, man. When I love the version. I know you've got a song out right now. I love The Way You Love Me. That was one of your dad's big hits from years ago. Was that a big conversation with the label and everything, trying to determine whether you wanted to cut that or not? And before I forget this, close my eyes and listen to your vocal interpretation. Your phrasing is just so spot on, dude. It's like, wow. I mean, it's so close. It is so, just the timbre of your voice and just the enunciations and everything are really spot on.
I never thought I sounded like Dad.
But you do.
Until I sung that song. And we were in the studio. Bart Butler's my producer. And I was in there about halfway through singing. I was like, hey, be honest, how much do I sound like Dad? And there was like a long pause. He just goes, don't worry about it. And I was like, okay, that's like, I sound a lot like him, don't I? But no, man, it's, for the longest time, especially when I first moved to town, everybody's like, I had people try to hey, you should change your last name, you know, do all this thing, try to get out from the umbrella, so to say. But I never wanted to. Dad's a great guy, and he had a lot of success, man. And I'm proud of what he was able to accomplish, and so is he. So I never wanted to hide from it. You know, I've always had enough confidence in myself that I'll be able to, you know, kind of set myself away from that while paying tribute to the family name, right? But doing that, it was you know, Dad's retiring next year, and it was kind of, it just felt like it was time to do something cool like that. And we're going to do a song together next year. It'll probably be his last time in the studio and stuff. So it was time for something like that to happen. And people are loving it. I mean, it's got 35 million views on TikTok and Instagram and all this stuff.
Great piece of work.
Well, man. I appreciate it. It
really is.
I'm proud of it. He didn't know I was cutting it either. I just sent it to him one day, and he goes, "Holy shit!" He's like, "Well, you just opened yourself up to a lot of comparisons." And I was like, "Dad, they're already doing it, man."
Yeah, but you know what? It's just like the rest of us. You know, I grew up emulating Keith Whitley and Merle Haggard and all those things. And when you're learning to sing, man, you put the headphones on, and I'm trying to get every little breath right and do all the little nuances. But when you sing somebody else's stuff, you're doing the same thing to somebody else.
Absolutely,
without a doubt.
Especially like you said, the guys that you grew up listening to. I mean, Dad's voice growing up, I'm like, man, this is just like, how can it get better? You know, I'm just like, this guy's my hero. And so you try to emulate everything that he does, and
take a breath in every little spot to get the little vibratos in the right, all those things.
Man, even on stage, I'll see some videos and I'm like, oh, I know where I learned that.
And then I'm sure you catch yourself too, because I see my kids doing the same things. Of way you stand or a little mannerism or a little thing. You're just like, God,
dude. The older I get, every single day, I'll do something. I'm like, oh, I'm exactly like John Michael. Just whether it's like forgetting my keys in the house and trying to start up my car or something, you know, it's like I see so many similarities, and I love it though, man. He's a great dad, and you know, my parents were awesome. So they worked really hard raising me, because I'm sure I was a handful, but no, having that song be out there now and then doing the song with Dad next year, it's going to be a special little string of songs for me.
So let's talk about your career now. All the stuff you got going on. What label did you get signed with?
I'm independent.
Are you really? Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I was with a company called Play It Again for about 4 years. Dallas Davidson, who's a great man.
Great songwriter.
Oh, he's the best, man. I was talking to him the other day, Kentucky Georgia game, and which didn't turn out the way I liked, but no, he's just the best. I mean, I was 19 when he signed me, which that takes some guts, man. Signing a 19-year-old straight out of high school, you know, living in Kentucky, never done anything in Nashville before. But you know, he's a great guy. But I was there for about 4 years, and I've been independent ever since.
Let's talk about all that too, because there's so many things. I mean, compared to the way that we had things in the 90s, I mean, where it was very structured. You know, you had a promotion staff. We kind of knew the lay of the land. Mm-hmm. We go out and we worked radio. This is how this functions. This is how publishing works. These are the things you got to do, X, Y, Z. Nowadays, it's like the rules have kind of been thrown away.
It's Wild West,
you have so many tools for marketing and reaching that audience out there. And I've had guys like Cole Wetzel on here, Zach Top, before he really started popping, the guys that, you know, that really are building a fan base through social media and things. Mm-hmm. How do you approach the social media side of what you do? I mean, how are you posting every day?
Yeah, it's consistency, man. For us, it's like, especially when the song is kind of popping off, like I Love the Way You Love Me is, it's like once you get that quote unquote viral video or whatever it is, then you got to double down.
So explain this to me. What does viral mean? How many likes do you have to be considered viral?
I have no idea.
I mean, does anybody know the answer to that, or did they just decide when you're viral?
Let's say this: I post a video, and you know, I wake up the next day, and if it did well, I'm like, okay, well, that's I guess that's doing what it's supposed to be doing. But no, it's just consistency, and it's so personal, right? Because it's your personal account. You're doing all the stuff yourself. And so when a video doesn't do well, you got to just kind of brush it off, right? It's like you thought, or a song you released doesn't do as well as you wanted it to. It's like, well, you know, on to the next one, you know, keep pushing it like you want to, but, you know, obviously that didn't do what you wanted.
Do you make those decisions?
Yeah.
Are you looking at all the analytics and the numbers and everything from the streaming platforms and
so I work with a company called Venture Music, which Zach works with. Zach Top does as well. and they kind of, they really, because like on the side of the algorithms and stuff and all this, I'm like, I mean, that ain't my thing. It's just I don't know enough about that to get in there and in the weeds and stuff. So they helped me out on that and making the videos and stuff like that. But it's all me, commenting, posting, everything like that. It's all me. So we kind of devise a plan for like the month, right? And all right, post this on that day, post this on that.
Do you do content in advance, or are you doing content every day? Or are you doing some content that you put back and then doing just little things that you post scattered through the day?
Yeah, it just depends. I mean, if I'm doing like an acoustic video or something, I just sit down and do it, right? But we did a content day the other day, and so that's like the bulk of our posts for the month, because it's the professionally made videos and all lip syncing stuff that is popular right now and all that. But yeah, so that's the bulk of it. But in between, post stuff about life. I'll post stuff with my girlfriend and just going to Kentucky football games or whatever it is, because you got to switch it up. I mean, you can't just be shoving music all the way down people's throat all the time. They want to see what you're doing.
It's kind of more of exposing them to your lifestyle and your personality and all those things too.
They want to see that you're doing stuff, not just music. It's it. And so if I'm going on vacation or something, and it's kind of hard for me because I'm not like a take a picture guy, right? It's like I'm out there living life. So that does help having the girlfriend, because she's always wanting to take selfies and stuff like that, So I'm like, this honestly helps my social media game to have you here. But it's good. It's been a good couple months, man.
It's difficult for me. I'm not a poster. I don't do that. So I've had to find other ways to navigate around that and I'm sure that it would probably help my career. I just think it cuts into my quality of life, because I didn't grow up in that like y'all did. I mean, it's kind of a generational thing. Most of us older guys don't want to do it. I got friends that still carry flip phones, dude.
Yeah. I love it.
They don't even know how to text.
And I would, if I could. No artist likes it.
No.
Right. And if
some of them do, I think so. At least they say they do.
I don't know, man. It's like, I mean, I never have, right? But it's what you got to do. It's part of the job. You're always going to have parts of your job that you don't enjoy the best, right? Yep. And like I worked at Boot Barn. I hated folding jeans because I didn't, I didn't like the way they folded. I folded my jeans differently, but I had to stay afterwards and fold 1,000 jeans. And it's just the part that you don't like. That's social media for most artists. But to get your music out there nowadays, it's not as structured as y'all had it. So it's like you got to work. You got to do all the development yourself. There's no artist development anymore.
Would there be a point, which I see a lot of people do, then you got artists like Alexandra Kay, who I've known for several years now, that was one of my early guests on. Mm-hmm. She still fought to maintain her independence, but you got other ones, like Bailey Zimmerman got a huge social following, then all of a sudden parlayed back into a record deal with a major. Mm-hmm. I mean, is that something that you're seeing move in that direction? Radio still does have an effect on some of that stuff out there.
Absolutely, man. I mean, I grew up with radio.
Radio is everything to us.
Yeah. It's I mean, that's obviously we want a record label partner and go to radio. It's and growing up in the business, I know a lot of those folks over there at iHeart, Cumulus and stuff like that. But no, I mean that's the end goal, but you can do it without.
Oh, you can for sure. I know guys out there that are putting 8,000-10,000 people in arenas right now that have had basically no radio airplay.
No, it is crazy. It shows you that there's no formula, man. There's no puzzle pieces.
It's kind of like the Wild West out there right now. It's kind of like college football and kids getting paid. It's the Wild West. There needs to be some parameters set in place. Man.
Well, and it's just it'll change next year. The town that I moved to is gone. 5 years ago or 6 years ago. I mean, we thought we had it figured out. There wasn't TikTok when I moved to town.
Wow.
And it's like 2020 came around and there's this new platform that everybody's blowing up on. So you got to learn. You got to learn. There's, different people that you got to meet, new folks coming into town, and it's just always changing.
What's the scene like downtown for you? I know you said that you lived downtown for a while, but you kind of moved more out to the suburbs.
Yeah.
What's the music scene like? I have gone down a few times. It's overwhelming to me. I'm a guy that's been coming in backstage for way too many years to fight those crowds.
Yeah.
Like I freak out. It just gives me too much anxiety.
I don't go down there much anymore. but because like I was telling you before the podcast, that I went to college for 9 weeks.
Yeah.
Right. And I had a good time, but I mean, it's like I got the bug and I was like, I need to move to town. I wanted to start early. So that was like my dorm room was living downtown. So,
and that's fun for a young guy.
it was great.
Shoot,
it was fun until it wasn't.
Yeah. Till you get tired of the woo girls going woo all night long and trying to get in bed at 3:30 in the morning because you got a 6 o'clock demo session or something.
And I lived on a lower floor right on the corner.
Oh.
And they'd come around, woo, woo, woo. And I mean, just nonstop, man.
Oh yeah.
But no, look, downtown, it is what it is. It's a different kind of beast, right?
It's its own beast.
Yeah. But I will say, I was just in LA for the first time, and I came back, and Krista, my girlfriend, she's like, what'd you think? I said, if I ever complain about Nashville ever again, I need you to hit me as hard as you can.
And it's sad because California is one of the most beautiful states in the United States.
It's beautiful.
San Francisco was one of my favorite cities.
Yeah.
I used to love to go to L.A. I'd go out there, take acting lessons, do all kinds of stuff. I was in and out of L.A. all the time.
But the traffic.
It's the traffic and the homelessness and all the things. It's dangerous.
Yeah.
It's not safe.
But we played the Troubadour out there, which is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome venue. But no, I got back and I was like, oh, man. I never thought I'd say it. I missed you, Nashville. It did. But being out in the suburbs now, it's good because you can go to Music Row. I'm 20 minutes.
Yeah.
From town, from writing songs and everything like that. It makes it feel more like home, just because you can get out of town and
have a little peace
and quiet.
It makes a difference.
Yeah, we got a pond. We can go fishing and stuff like that, and it. But being downtown, it was, like I said, it was fun until it wasn't,
Yeah. Wow. Are you writing pretty much all the time?
Yeah, I usually try to. Being an artist is my thing. That's my number one goal, and I've never been the kind of guy that I need to cut every single one of my songs. It's the best song wins, right? So if it's my song, even better, right? But if it's an outside cut, it doesn't really matter to me. So I usually try to write Monday through Wednesday, Monday through Thursday, but usually take a day off before I hit the road. So Thursday, usually a day off, but then Friday, Saturday, I'm on the road, getting home on Sunday. But it's Monday through Wednesday. That's kind of my time, and that's good for me, right? Because I can fill my quota, right? And
you got a pub deal,
and we're working on one right now.
Cool.
Yeah, we like literally as I was talking to him on the way over here.
Get you on that quota, baby.
Yeah, right. But no, 3 days a week. You don't get burnt out on it. You can keep your ideas fresh. And I'm a melody guy, right? So I'm always working on melodies, just on my phone, humming all this stuff. So I can really take my time and work it out before I go into it, right?
That's cool.
Yeah.
And it can be a little bit overwhelming too. When I first started, I came to town with a notebook full and a box full of cassette tapes, and I thought I knew how to write a song until I sat down with Dean Dillon and I sat down with Paul Nelson, and I realized I didn't know anything, man. And then you freak out, and then you start learning more of the craft of rhyme scheme and putting things together, because up till then, all I really understood was how to kind of emulate something I'd heard on the radio or something that I liked on an album cut. But being able to get block out of all that. And I found too, man, I like you're talking about getting in a place where you're not writing too much, where you don't get burnt out. I did, man. We did a 30th anniversary project, and I wrote pretty much everything on it. And I got to the end of that record, I'm like, I ain't got nothing else to write about.
No, you had ideas.
And I still hadn't come out of it yet.
Yeah.
This was like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
It's taken me a while.
Yeah.
I'm just
that happened to me during COVID, because I was writing 5 days a week over Zoom.
Then you got to back up and you got to go live some more life, man. You got to go see things and smell things and travel and have conversations, sit in a coffee shop and listen to what people are talking about, all those things.
No, it's easy to get, but it's just like the road, you do 100 shows a year, and by December you're like,
I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to sign nothing else. I don't want nothing. Just leave me alone.
But you said coming to town, kind of green. I was the same way, but on everything. Yeah. And no matter how much you think when you move to town and you're doing it, it's like, oh man, I got some work to do. I remember being in the studio for the first time with Colt Ford and Dad, and I was 18, 19, and we got on that Neumann mic, and there's nowhere to hide, man.
Oh yeah, it's all right there.
There's nowhere to hide. We listened back to it, and I was so disappointed. Dad's looking at me, he's like, "What's wrong, boy?" And I was like, "Man, I just thought I was better than that, because I'm pitchy. I'm 18 and stuff, and never been in a studio. I'm nervous and stuff. But it's like you
probably over singing.
Oh, absolutely. You kidding me? I couldn't talk for like a week afterwards, right? But no, it's just you've got to do it to learn it.
Yeah.
And whether it's writing a song, and that was kind of like my first pub deal. That was me learning how to write a song.
Yeah.
Essentially, especially the first couple years. And then it's like, okay, I know how I want to write. I know my strengths. I know my weaknesses. I know what I got to work on and everything. So it's a learning process, especially when you come in that young, man.
Did you get to travel a lot with your dad when he was hot and stuff out on the road?
Yeah, man,
in school
we did.
Playing sports and stuff?
We always had the tour bus at our house, right? Yep. Old XL. It was Ronnie Dunn's old XL, old presidential model.
Yeah.
And I'm a bus freak, man. I'm obsessed with them. But yeah, so we always had that one at the house, and we wouldn't go on like long runs or anything like that.
But my point being is, you got to travel and you got to see a lot of cities and stuff around. How different is it being in your own bus now? Getting to travel.
Well, I'm driving my own, right?
Are you really?
So but it's good, man, and it's like.
But you see venues and things from a different perspective when you're the guy that's getting on the stage at night.
Absolutely.
I mean, it changed your perspective of all of them. People think that when you're traveling the way that we travel, that you're seeing all these great places and you're getting to do all this stuff. You see the back of a venue and a dark street, going down the interstate at night. You don't see much.
Like, I've been to Omaha, but I haven't been to Omaha. Yeah. Right? I've been to a venue in Omaha. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely, when I moved to town, that was the one thing I knew how to do. And I knew how to, like, I'm a road dog, so I knew how to do touring. And I knew how to do it at a fairly high level just from being with Dad, right? And following him around. And, but yeah, when you're, you kind of want to go, like we did a show in Baton Rouge the other day, and you want to go hang out, right? But you can't. You get there morning of, driving all night, and then you can't. You got stuff to do. Then it's on to the next show. And but yeah, so I have tried to make a conscious effort the past couple of years, like, hey, I don't care how tired I am, if we're in a cool place, go out and see it. Because you never know the next time you're going to be here.
That's true. Yeah. You just have to make yourself. I mean,
you got to make yourself.
But it's difficult, man. You get burnt out. This time, I don't care about seeing nothing.
Yeah,
just let me do my show and get done.
Yeah, I mean,
and I don't mean that as bad. I enjoy the shows. I don't. I mean, it's just that time of year. It's starting to get dreary. Time zone just changed again, and it's getting dark at 4:30. It's like,
yeah, but then everybody, all the artists are so ready for December, and so am I. Yeah. When there's a little break, but then January comes and you're like, oh my God, man, I'm so bored. Like you're just twiddling your thumbs and you're ready to get back out there.
That's the way I was during COVID, man.
Yeah.
Because I had such a hard time. We'd been out on tour with me and Justin Moore. Yeah. Lainey Wilson was opening up for us with an acoustic guitar, dude. That's how far. I mean, it hadn't been but 4 years ago, and look at where she's at right now. And I remember we had played Indianapolis, Denver. And our last show was in Kansas City. Wasn't that right? I think it was. And that was the first weekend of March. And Justin and I were talking. It's like, they're fixing to shut us down for a little bit. And we were worried about all of it. And then we got home that after that run, and everything stopped.
Yeah.
I mean, it just came to a screeching halt. I'm like, okay, well, this is going to be 3 or 4 weeks. We'll go back to work. And then March led into April led into June.
Yeah.
And so I had 9 shows on the books for July. And I lost all of them but a private show on the 4th of July. And when I lost all those dates in June, I realized we're done. Then I had to start accepting the fact that we weren't going back to work for a while. And I had a really hard time with it. I mean, because people don't realize this is kind of like a drug.
Yes,
you get addicted to that instant gratification of being on that stage.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, yes, absolutely. That's you talk about the bug, man.
Even the bug of living on the bus. There's something about the charm of the bus, and the camaraderie and the fellowship with your brothers.
You love, man.
It's what you surround yourself with people that are as passionate as you are about it. Hopefully, if you got a good group of people, and then it can be very fun. The whole experience is very exhilarating. You take that away, and it's like going through withdrawals.
Take it away immediately.
Awful
too. Cold turkey.
Yeah.
No, we did the same thing. I mean, luckily we were. We got the farm up in Kentucky and stuff, and so Travis, Madison, we all went up there. We got kegs and stuff like that. We had kegs, and Dad had this skid steer with a bucket on it. So we would just go around to our neighbors, put the keg on the skid steer, and pull up next to their front door. And we had this was like at the very beginning, right?
A contactless beer drinking.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but no, I mean
that's funny as shit.
It was a good time for about 3 weeks, right? And then you're like, God.
And I was like, oh.
Yeah. You're ready to get rolling again.
We created the compound games out here. We call this a compound. We have a couple of other families that live out here with us. And so we developed this whole Olympic game thing. We had wiffle ball tournament. We had kayak races on the pond. We had BB gun shooting contests. We had a whole thing of games that we made us a little creative trophy and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, we just played games. I mean, it was just, we just locked ourselves up here.
That's funny. Crystal my mom, she always called our place the compound too. Yeah. It's funny, but it's kind of the same thing, It's like we got our little plot of land, and there's some neighbors around us and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's so funny. The most exciting thing for us is when somebody would find toilet paper. There's toilet paper at the Dollar General. Get down here fast. They're only letting us take 5 packs.
It's just looking back on that time, you're like, man, we went. It's wild. It's
well,
insane.
There's never been anything else that happened that shut the entertainment world down.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of times, we've been through recessions and hard times. The real estate market takes a hit. People cut back. They cut back on the spending, but
still doing shows.
Concerts, still doing shows. The theaters are still working. People are still going to baseball games. They're still going to football games. They might not be going to as many.
Yeah.
But the entertainment factor and the things that give you an escape, an outlet to escape from all the crap that's going on, all that was taken away from us.
Insane.
And I've never seen anything like it, and I hope we never see anything like it again.
I mean, yeah, God willing. But it looking back, it was good. Honestly, looking back, it was good for my career because that's when I found the TikToks. And really kind of honed in on Instagram and stuff. And that's when I found who I wanted to be as an artist, too, because I had nothing else to do.
Were you doing all your own editing and doing all your own posting and all that? Did you kind of go down that?
Yeah, and you can look back and see that I was doing my own editing, right? But no, it was good because that's when my voice matured, right? And I'm like, the traditional country music, that is what I am. That's the kind of music I want to do. That's what I was raised with. That's what fits my voice the best, and that's what I love. Yeah. And that was kind of the time that I find, that I found out what I wanted to do as an artist. And I can hear the change in my voice just from that year alone. Like I do recordings before, I sound like a child because I was.
Yeah.
And then after that, sound like a grown man. And
it does. There's a maturation process, especially from doing it over and over and over, and just the workload and singing all the time.
You wear it down, it recovers. You wear it down, it recovers. It's a muscle.
It is, and you get more depth to it. Yeah. It changes as you get older, man. It really does.
But it's in a spot right now where I'm 25 now, so I'm kind of thinking it might be where it is right now for a while, and then
25. Gosh, that was such a long time ago. Wow, 25. Oh, to be 25 again.
It's fun right now. I'll tell you what, out there touring and stuff. Now it's like, now's the time where I'm hitting it hard. I'm like, this is my time to.
How many shows y'all gonna finish up with this year?
We'll probably do about 75.
Yeah.
And
have you done any big tours?
No. Well, we just got off the road with Aaron Watson. Did
Aaron.
My first 14-day run, and so that was a good. I'd done runs like that with Dad, but I've never done it as an artist.
Yeah.
So that was a good time, but we're doing we do all these little opening slots. We got some shows with Cody next year in Charlotte, North Carolina.
That'll be a good
South
fit
Carolina.
for you.
Yeah, man, I'm pumped about it.
Yeah.
It's doing our first stadium. It's like a tennis stadium or something in Charleston.
Really?
It looks awesome. And one of my buddies was playing it the other day. I can't remember who was playing for, but yeah, it's for a stadium, right? It's real intimate looking, but I'm excited about it, man. We've had some really good shows, and we're with the song popping off and stuff. This is the first time in my career that there's a lot of stuff getting booked already next year.
That's good,
right?
Man.
So it's I'm counting down the days, man.
What's a couple of your favorite venues or highlight venues that you had a chance to play in this far?
We did the Rave in Milwaukee.
Oh yeah,
with who was it? Lee Bryce. And we did the upstairs room, and they've got like the haunted pool down there. So Milwaukee was good. We did a PBR tour earlier this year, and the PBR in Kansas City is an awesome venue.
Yeah, that's cool.
It is. It's right. You know, it's kind of like the live stuff, like 4th Street Live in Louisville. It's a really cool venue. And then I've got my little places back home in Lexington, Manchester Music Hall that I always like to hit and stuff.
You know, there's one company that owns several of those, and we just played one up in Maryland. Remember there was one in Maryland? There's the Power and Light District in Saint is that Kansas City? Is it?
Kansas City.
Yeah, and then the one in Louisville. They're all kind of similar.
It's all the same under the live or whatever.
Yeah, but it's really cool for folks that have never experienced one of those things. So they kind of get a co-op of a bunch of clubs and bars and stuff, and it's kind of in a walkway. So you play, and then they all kind of share the expense of all of it.
It's a cool little business model they got going on. But they know how to do country. The PBRs know how to do country shows. You know, that's their bread and butter. Yeah. So but it's been a good year. But it is slowing down, and I'm ready. You know, get a couple weeks of rest and stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah.
What do y'all do? What's your holiday traditions? I know you like ours. I mean, I never like to work at Christmas. Do y'all?
No, God, no, dude. I get so many people asking. You know, do y'all? I don't know if y'all are the same way, but do y'all sit around the fire and sing and pick and sing and stuff like that? And I'm like, there wasn't a guitar in sight.
By the time we get there, the last thing I want to see is damn guitar.
No, I mean we never sung, we never talked about music. We just did regular family stuff. You know, I mean we decorate the tree together and stuff like that. Have a
Christmas jammies.
Yeah, we do. Trust me. My girlfriend just bought our first matching pair, so I'm sure on Instagram there's going to be a
serious,
post.
boys. It's serious.
Yeah. And it is pink.
Does yours have the trap door in the back?
No, but I'll tell you, dude. I'll tell you what. I wanted. That was my only request, and it didn't.
That's just wrong. You got to have a trap door. That's a man thing.
It didn't happen, but maybe next year we'll get it. You know. But no, we just do regular stuff, man. Nothing crazy. We never really travel or anything like that.
So tell me your holiday food spread, because everybody's a little bit different, and I know ours. We like a real traditional Thanksgiving. We kind of do the same thing at Christmas, where it's like a turkey, either fried or baked or smoked or whatever we do with mashed potatoes and dressing and all. Yeah. What's your holiday meal?
We do the same thing. It's all Thanksgiving's a turkey. For Christmas we do a ham, honey baked ham or something like that. But
are you a cook? Do you help?
God, no, I can't do it. I can't boil water, dude. I can make tacos pretty good. That's my specialty. But I just got a Blackstone, right?
Oh, so
this winter, we kind of got
to learn to do the hibachi, man.
Oh, I'm fixing to learn it. But yeah, no, I'm not a big cook. But every morning growing up, or every Christmas morning, we always had cinnamon rolls, stuff like that. We had the orange cinnamon rolls. Mom always made those. So that was like her little tradition. But other than that, it was always Thanksgiving turkey, ham Christmas, and all the fixings,
All that stuff.
My grandma.
Stuffing or dressing?
We call it dressing.
We call it dressing. Cornbread dressing, not because stuffing, I mean, it's like a bread thing. We made cornbread.
There you go. Yeah. I don't know what my grandma makes, to be honest. It's good. I know that. But no, we always called it dressing. Yeah. But no, I'm always, especially living down here now, I'm even more excited for the holidays, because going back to Kentucky, and I get, in 2 months I get to go back to Kentucky when I don't get to do it basically the whole year. Right, so it's I'm pumped about it, and it makes you enjoy it a little bit more.
Is your childhood bedroom still the same?
Oh yeah,
no kidding. Man.
Yeah, it ain't been touched since I was 18. Right, wow. I mean it. But yeah, no, it's still it's still got the high school basketball jersey and stuff hanging out in it. But it's I don't think, if I did anything to it, I think Mom might start crying. She's pretty sentimental about that stuff.
Oh,
but I just but hell, when I'm there, I spend 2 nights, and then I'm back on the road.
But I'm sure it brings back great memories, man. I mean,
it is kind of weird though. I was there probably 4 months ago, and I slept in my childhood bedroom, and it's like, you wake up, you're like, did I just go back in time? Like, what's going on with
Take
this?
You a little bit to shake the cobwebs down. It's like, what just did, what?
Like, back to a time where you didn't have to pay taxes and stuff like that,
Is your childhood bedroom still the same?
It remained that way until, God, I'm 37 now, so until about 5 years ago, probably. Yeah, she's super, super sentimental about it.
My mom's the same way, man. Yeah. But, no, but it's good. Going back to Kentucky, man, it's like it's just heaven on earth.
Matter of fact, I still do have. You remember those glow in the dark stick on? Obviously, that you stick them on. They're stickers. The little glow in the dark stars for all the constellations and stuff, all the stars and shit.
I know
you put them on. You see in the fan. So so those are still in there.
Those are still on there. Okay, so she didn't move those.
She didn't peel all that off.
Yeah, there you
What
go.
about you, Scott?
No, not anymore. Mom's moving to a smaller place, so that she pretty much got rid of everything I ever owned.
There you go. Have a good yard sale.
Yeah, basically, she's getting rid of everything.
My wife gets rid of everything I own. I'll come home looking for a shirt. If I don't wear it, it's gone. She's gonna throw it away, and then I don't know where that went.
Yeah.
Your wife? Oh, well,
That's
your girlfriend.
what,
It'll happen. It'll happen.
Yeah.
Trust me.
I'll tell you what. It's already happened a little bit. I'll come home and she told me, it's like, if you can't find something, I know where it is. Just ask me what you're looking for, and by God, every time, man.
It just gives them an excuse to go through all your shit.
Probably, yeah. But it's like, I'm telling you, she's got that house mapped out to a T. I mean, she can find anything like crazy. And my pants. I keep my pants right on the floor. That's where I keep them. Right? It's like
they were fine though. They'll be there when I get ready to put them on.
Right there when I get back. Yeah. I mean, they're stars. They're gonna be fine.
They're fine. They're stars. So I can wear them 3 more times. It'll be fine.
That's right.
Guys are just different than girl, man. My biggest. I don't know if you feel the same way. I don't understand the damn throw pillow shit.
Yeah.
It takes up half the bed. When I get home, it's like, why do we need because then you got to find a place to pile it up, and then you got to put it back on the bed.
Since she moved in,
I hate a throw pillow.
Since she moved in, we have them now, and
that's not a guy thing. Guys don't even make their damn beds.
It looks good until you got to go to bed and you're piling them up and stuff.
And
like
they got to go a certain way.
That's true. They do have to go a certain way. And I don't know the way. I'm with you on that though. It's
exhausting.
And the worst, I'll tell you what's the worst. You got a star coach here. When you buy the bus or rent the bus, you got all that crap on the bus too, and you don't have room on the bus to put all these pillows.
There's pillows that are this big that go up here that are too big for the seat.
Yeah,
when they're up here, I have to hide all of it in the back.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's too
and then
big.
I complain about it constantly.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
I do.
It sounds like John Michael. I'll tell you what. It's like you can tell that y'all were in the same era, man.
The era we grew up in.
Yeah, I love it.
I can't help it though.
Neither can he. Yeah. Neither can he. It's funny, man.
And we get set in our ways as we get older too. That's pretty bad.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I'm already kind of getting there, but I had Dad to
fall right into them
to make me
man.
bitter, before I moved to town, right?
Just go ahead and get that established early. I'm just gonna go ahead and get bitter right now.
Yeah, it's good. It's gonna happen. So you might as well just start now.
Oh man, there's so much crazy stuff, and so by the time this airs, the election will have already happened. So I don't want to go into that. But do you know about Peanut the squirrel?
I do know about Peanut.
That's
the squirrel.
pissing me off. The whole Peanut the squirrel thing makes me really angry.
Yeah.
And I'm not even going to say her name. The woman down in Longview, Texas. They know who called the thing in.
Yeah.
So it's pretty crappy.
I didn't know about Peanut the squirrel until that happened.
I didn't know about
it was just every single day. I need to stop checking like Twitter or X or whatever it's called.
Dude, I sit there and I start.
Yeah.
And then 2 hours goes by and I haven't done anything but just move my thumb.
Yeah. But every day there's something that blows my mind.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like nothing. I mean, it's just, I'm like, what? Every single day. I just need to stop. I need to stop looking at it. I need to stop watching the news. It's a wild time. I'd like for it to stop after the election, but it's not going to.
Oh, and it's not going to stop.
And it's never going to stop. It's a business. I mean, there's so much money.
It's a multi-billion-dollar business.
Yeah, there's so much money in it. And if I was running an election, I'd probably, I'd be like, let's keep it rolling too,
So we had a Halloween party / birthday party for my wife recently.
I did see you and my buddy Trey Lewis.
Oh,
singing Dick Down in Dallas.
Trey's about 12 foot tall, and he had a top hat on this big, and he looked like he was like Sasquatch or something.
He's the best guy, man.
I love him to death,
He's the best guy.
I just love him.
I did see that, and I'm like, you're right.
He's a tall man.
Guy. And but he's looking good. He's lost a lot of weight. I mean, but he's looking good. But I couldn't imagine with a top hat on. I remember first time, man. I'm like, good God.
Have you ever been to Floribama?
I haven't. No.
Okay, so you've probably never heard of Big Earl and the Sexual Biscuits.
Big Earl and the Sexual Biscuits.
Big Earl's been my house band for the birthday party for about the last 4 years.
I love it.
Big Earl sings nasty songs about doing things to dolphins that are very inappropriate. Things happening behind the Waffle House late at night.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a comedian.
Yeah, he's like a Wheeler Walker Jr. kind of thing.
We were playing Wheeler Walker earlier during the day.
There you go. There you go. You know, we went to the same
kicking
school.
ass.
Yes, yeah, right. He's from Lexington, Kentucky.
Is he really?
We went to the same different times,
Yeah.
but yeah, you can go back in my school and see. I forget it. Ben Hoffman, I think is his real name. But you can see him right in the class photo. I'm like, man,
there's some interesting music out there in the space that we live in these days.
There is, man.
And I like strange things. I like weird people and eclectic personality. I like that, man.
Yeah. The you know, I love songs. If I could do love songs all concert, I would. But man, it'd be a boring ass concert.
Yeah, you gotta have some
right. So it's like the thing right now that I'm kind of steering away from is like it seems like so many of these new, especially like in the Americana world, they're all just so sad, man. It's like it seems like all these artists are so depressed or something. And it's like I'm just a happy guy.
Yeah.
Right. So people, and there's not a lot of love songs out there right now. And so that's what I'm trying to bring back. And but there's songs for everybody out there now.
Oh, yeah. and for those of us with demented personalities, there's a lot of interesting.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, but no, there's definitely there's the Wheelers out there, you know. Yeah. And I had a buddy go to one of his shows, man, and he sent me some video. They're wild. I mean, he's an entertainer though.
Oh yeah,
yeah, he really is. And and it was a show in Lexington, Kentucky, and people show up. It's crazy.
Who's some of the guys that really intrigue you that are out there right now? It's like I just had Gavin Adcock on the show a while back. He's wild, man.
He is wild.
I mean, I've watched stuff on TikTok of things he's doing at shows, man.
Mm-hmm.
Whew, he's a lot.
I don't know how he keeps it up. I'd be so exhausted.
Well, you know that. Is he going to have to do that the rest of his life? Like hair bands that wore spandex in the 80s that still have to do it now? You know, you get trapped in that stuff, man, and then you're stuck. Could you imagine being 70 years old and having to wear wigs and spandex and still doing
jumping up and down and everything?
Yeah.
No, man. Here's the thing. There's a bunch of good guys out there right now.
Yeah.
And I mean on my side, Zach Top's obviously killing it.
Yeah.
You know, the traditional guys. My girlfriend is in a band called Tiger Lily Gold, so I got to give them a shout out there.
Cool.
And they're killing it right now. But it goes back to, you know, with the Spotifys and the Apple Musics and Pandoras, it's like, if you don't like one artist, it's all good because you can find another one in a similar vein that you will like. And there's so many out there.
Like Mae Estes, isn't that her last name?
Man, she's good.
Oh, she's so good.
Mae Estes.
God, I can close your eyes. It sounds like a young Leanne Womack.
It does.
So good.
S.J. McDonald. I don't know if you've heard her. Her and Mae Estes are very similar. And I think that actually S.J. goes out and plays a acoustic rhythm for some. She's a badass. But there's a bunch of the gals.
It's like the real hardcore traditional. And see, I love that stuff. I have a weird take on it. I mean, the really heartbreaking sad songs, they soothe me for some reason. I've just always gotten great comfort from them.
Yeah, I mean, but that's I'm the same way with Misery and Gin and Keith Whitley.
Yeah.
Keith Whitley songs and all that, and even The Cards. The Cards is my favorite song of yours, man.
Oh man,
that's such a good.
We do it periodically.
Do you really?
What a great song! I mean, like a year ago, we worked it back up, and I throw it in from time to time.
But I mean, songs like that, heartbreak songs, man. It's we're releasing a song next called "Never Had You Anyway," and I'll send it to you. It's Clint Daniels' song, man. But it's it's just that good old heartbreak song. It's I saw a T-shirt the other day. Sad country songs make me happy.
You know, you ought to do, since you've already done one for your dad. Why don't you do an album of all of our songs from the '90s and get us to come duet them with you?
There you go. Hey, well, come on. There you go. Yeah, we'll make it happen. Let's sign a deal first. We'll get somebody else to pay for it.
Amen, brother.
There you go.
That shit ain't cheap, man.
Yeah, it's not, man. And it's only getting more expensive. I mean, it's more expensive to be an independent artist now than ever. And especially from the time that I moved to town.
So I'll give you a price comparison. When I left Universal and I cut the album "Find Out Who Your Friends Are" on it, that was the longest charted single that I ever had on the charts. Mm-hmm. It was on the charts for 52 weeks.
Yeah.
Typically for us back in the day,
it was insane.
It was 12 to 14 weeks to get the top of the chart, hit your number one spot, stay through 2 or 3 weeks. Anyway, you'd hit in 12, 14 weeks and you had your burn off period. Mm-hmm. So you had the resources to work all those things like that. Well, when I left Universal, I found out who your friends are. It was the first artist-owned label with a debut release that we took to #1. It took us 52 weeks to get there. That process outside of a major label system with hired promotion staffs and everything cost me about $250,000. Now, this was 07, so we're still selling records back then. I won't mention my friend's name, but I have another friend that released a song about 3 or 4 years later, and it may have been like 2012 or something, and they barely got it top 20, and they spent almost $750,000. And nowadays, you don't have record sales to back all that stuff up, so if don't have a revenue stream from what you're generating by using that as a marketing tool, if you're not selling records, because streaming doesn't pay the same. Not at all.
Well, especially if you're trying to push the radio, and if you don't get good reporting back, I mean, then you're
but
really
as an
screwed.
independent, it's so hard to compete without some major label affiliation because they kind of got a stranglehold on the market.
Well, and they can throw their elbows around when you can't. I mean, like what Drew Baldridge did is amazing, and I don't know if we'll see it again. It's the fact that he was able to take that thing to #1 as long as it took. And the way it's streamed and stuff, it was a hit. There's a lot of #1s now.
But you spend so much money to get it there and so many resources. Do you ever really get your money back from it in this day? And I don't know. I don't have the answer anymore. Is it almost?
Ain't nobody got the answer now.
No, nobody's got the answer.
Everybody thinks they know what they're talking about, and it's like but that goes back to it's going to change next year. The business you think you got figured out, it's going to be. That business is going to be gone.
I wonder what new tools will pop up on us next year. I'm sure there's going to be a change in the landscape next year.
I don't know. What I'm not looking forward to is when there's a new, social app, right? Because I've already got to deal with Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and Twitter. And it's like, good God, what else are you going to throw on me? But it's also like, what else how many videos can you post? So it's always gonna change, but that I'm interested to see what's going to happen with that next.
Whether or not it depends on which way things go, where the self-expression gets clamped down on, or it gets liberated. I mean, we're going to see a change one way or another.
Yeah, we will. It's true. There you go.
I don't know. I don't have the dang answers. I know that. I know it just seems like, but to see labels lose the stranglehold that they had because you have other platforms and other ways to reach your audience out there that have been game-changing for young startup artists. But it's also brought so much competition. I mean, you drive down Lower Broad, you're seeing world-class musicians, vocalists, songwriters, and they're everywhere. It was chaos when I came to town in the early 90s, and it's worse now.
Finding a fill-in drummer down here is like the easiest thing ever, because they're just on. I mean, it's every corner.
Oh yeah,
and they're all gonna play. They're all gonna play the song well. But no, it's the amount of competition has, even from the time that I moved to town 6 years ago. It's just, every day somebody else is popping up.
And the other part of that is how do you make yourself be noticed? How do you get noticed? Because you gotta sling so much stuff out there, just the luck of the draw. It's just how do you get in touch with that right person, that label head, the head of promotion, or somebody that's really going to believe in you, that's going to say, "This is my guy here."
I just when I moved to town. And this is probably something to do with having Dad in the business. It's like I knew it was either going to work out or it wasn't. Right. And it's like you're either going to meet that person who can change your career, or you're going to do it yourself, or whatever it is. You always do it yourself because you either write the song, record the song, or whatever. But you're either going to get that partnership or you're not. It's going to either work out or it won't.
And I kind of look at it, we're all sports fans, so, you see some hot kid like Trevor Lawrence come out of Clemson, like he's a Greek freaking god and everything, and then he goes to a team that doesn't necessarily have the chemistry with the quarterback coach that you would hope, and then you see them falter. They don't develop out right, and sometimes it destroys their career in the first 4 years or whatever, and they never recover from it. And then you got guys like Tom Brady that nobody even knew who he was. It lands in the right spot, and fate smiles on him. He takes advantage of it.
Will Levis, man. I'm a Kentucky fan, which is no way to live. But
well, Tennessee did just beat him again.
I know. Yeah, there you go.
So sorry about that.
Oh my God, dude. If North Korea was playing Tennessee tomorrow, I'd cheer for North Korea. I mean,
that is so wrong, man.
Here's why.
That's pretty good. I like that.
Here's why. Because like everybody's supposed to hate Louisville and Kentucky, right? But we beat Louisville every year, so it's not like a thing. And Tennessee seems to be that only. Y'all beat us for like 27 years in a row. Nobody beats us for 28 years in a row, though, except for Florida. They beat us for 31. But it's like the one team we just can't get over. It's like every now and then we'll get you, but I mean, it's like it's so frustrating.
See, I grew up in Arkansas, so we've been in hell for years.
Yeah, that's true.
But we did beat Tennessee this year.
There you go. Yeah, you did.
And I wore this very hat on stage that night. And it was a hell of an ordeal.
And then I took it off his head and put a Arkansas Razorback
there you go
cap on his head.
I love it.
Which was
because
Coach Pittman was actually there at the show.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He said, "Mr. Tennessee," and I looked up. He said, "Come here a minute, son."
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh God." He said,
"I'll tell you what, he's a big guy. I wouldn't want to mess with him, man. Him, Mark Stoops, man, the Kentucky coach, Josh Heupel. They're football guys, man. You can tell they're just. I mean, they live, eat, and breathe it, man. Which is good. It's what you need. And the SEC.
SEC's tough, man. Now that we got Texas and Oklahoma in there, I mean, I really thought Texas was going to be a powerhouse. They sure got exposed a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, and Oklahoma ain't been.
No,
I mean, they just ain't.
And how about Vanderbilt, man? Yeah, golly.
Look, I mean, I'm pissed they beat us, but every time they do win, like who'd they beat the other day?
Alabama.
Alabama. They beat Auburn.
They just beat Auburn this past weekend.
It's like hell yeah, man. Come on, it's like come on, Bandy, keep on going, baby.
You just kind of rooting. It's like rooting for that underdog.
Yeah.
Little train.
Have you ever been to one of their games?
I have not. I went to my first Vanderbilt basketball game the other night, and I'd never been. They got a nice little basketball stadium there, but that's the first time I'd ever been in there.
I haven't been since they redid the football stadium, but I went there for a Mississippi State game because I was just bored and I was living downtown. Good God, man!
Let's say there's like one little section over there where the student section, the rest of it, when Alabama played, the rest of it was all Alabama.
Yeah. And I remember they beat Florida last year or something. They rushed the field, but they did it in like a single file line. It's just like it's like, man.
Well, this year they tore the goalpost down and toted them 3 miles down Broadway and threw them in the river.
It's insane.
That's awesome.
Insane.
What it is.
I love it. It's the SEC though, man. It just means more.
And I think they got fined like $150,000 or something. It's like we don't care. We beat Alabama.
They don't care.
Oh, I'm sorry, Lindsey. Lindsey's here. See,
are you Alabama fan?
Oh yeah, it's painful. So after that, I kept finding all these little memes, and I was just trolling the shit out of her for about a week.
How do you think? Do you think old boy's going to last there?
Yeah, I think that it's the first year.
Yeah.
And Saban didn't have a great first year.
No, he lost to ULM.
Yeah.
Monroe.
That's true.
So I think we'll have to give up.
Yeah.
If he doesn't pick it up by year 2.
I think we ought to elect Saban as president. Be good.
Did you see the commercial of him at doing the Airbnb thing?
Yes, I did.
No showers no longer than 5 minutes. This is not a spa.
He's funny.
He really is a funny guy.
When he got on College Game Day, I was like, especially sitting next to McAfee.
And there were times you see him looking at McAfee like, "Are you insane?"
But he's done a good job, man. He's funny. I
He
mean,
really is.
when he doesn't have the pressure on him, he's hilarious.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But McAfee will test the patience of anything.
Dude.
Yeah. He does it on purpose.
Oh, 100%, man. No, he's poking the bear.
All the time.
He's like Troy Gentry was. Eddie had a big spoon on the bus because Troy would grab it and he'd be, I'm about to stir the pot, man. Because he would poke the bear and everything, man. No, Pat McAfee, he knows what he's done.
Yeah.
He's making a lot of money doing it too.
Man, you brought T-Roy up, man. I sure miss him. He was my friend, and it was what's such a tough thing to go through for everybody involved, man.
It was a wild time. We weren't as close with T-Roy just because he didn't live in Kentucky, right? Because we just didn't see him as much, and it was still, when him and Dad and Eddie were all playing Austin City and. There's a place called the Grapevine that his dad owned, where Mom and Dad met.
Yeah.
They were the crew, right? So that when that happened, and then when Joe Diffie died, those were the first times that I'd really seen Dad be like, shit, because his own crop was falling.
Yeah.
And especially when Joe got COVID,
that
right?
one stung too.
Yeah. But yeah, man, it was I'll never forget it. I was driving home I was still in college during my 9 weeks, and driving home, and Mom called me, and we were doing like some little barbecue festival in Danville, Kentucky or something like that. And it was just, it's surreal because you just never expect something like that to happen. And the fact, with Eddie there and witnessing it, and I mean, it was a sad thing to happen, but unfortunately it did. And Eddie's still kicking, but I mean, they had those conversations before.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, if something like this happens, because it's life, what are we going to do? And they both agreed, keep on trucking.
The way I always looked at it, we're all blessed to have a little piece of this business for every one of us, whatever, if we have just a taste of success in this business.
Yeah.
For every few of us that do, the tens of thousands of people that dream the dream that never either get an opportunity, or for whatever twist of fate, things just don't land the right way. It doesn't happen for them. I mean, we're talking about extremely talented people.
Oh,
too.
yeah.
So you just have to learn to take it for what it is. It's a very blessed journey that we all get to take through this thing.
And that's like, if you're having a bad day on the road or whatever it is, or in town, you got to look around and be like, all right, it ain't too bad. It could be a whole lot worse, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You could be folding jeans at the boot barn.
Yes, you're right. I will say that was a fun job, man. It was a fun job. They took care of me over there.
You know what I miss?
What do you miss?
Rocky Mountain jeans on cowgirls. They don't even
Rocky-
make. You remember the Rocky Mountains?
That is. We're gonna find that.
My wife used to
Do
wear
you know
those.
what those are?
When I met her
find out.
Rocky,
in
there
the,
you
in the
go.
late
Hell, I didn't
90s,
even know that was there.
the late 90s, especially the ones that had the tall button up front.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, girl, come on.
There's some Rocky Mountains
I
right
love
there.
mom
son.
jeans.
Mom jeans.
Yeah, that's what they look
Those
like.
are not mom jeans.
Yeah, dude. Look how long the ass is.
Those
are
are
mom
not
jeans.
mom jeans, but they are long
I
waisted.
don't know what
Okay,
moms
so-
you're
so-
looking at.
so they're
They
Eng-
didn't. My
all right.
wife looked pretty hot in them to me.
So English teacher jeans. Then there you go.
English teacher jeans.
He grew up down in Perry County. He ain't
There
got
you
no
go.
sense.
Yeah, I've never seen those. He zooms in.
I kind of like him.
Now,
right there.
let's
I don't
see
know
what
about
I'm
y'all.
talking about. That's what I mean.
Okay, I know what you're saying about mom jeans. I do. Yeah. Rocky Mountain jeans. So is that the company though?
I know it was just one of the name brands. I don't know if they were a spinoff of Wrangler or whatever, but yeah. But I liked them a lot.
You're getting on eBay right
We're
there.
gonna find it. We're gonna get you some.
Gonna
Tracy.
find the used ones on
Get you some
eBay. Right
bell bottoms. $25. There you
there.
go.
That's
you
a good
go.
deal, actually.
34,
huh?
36. That's just your size.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's a good deal. $25. Well, I learned something new today.
The Western apparel world has
The
come
Western-
a long
yeah.
way, man.
Oh my God, dude. Yeah, it has. I mean,
have you got to play NFR yet,
I haven't. No,
dude?
But
Have you been out to NFR?
no, I haven't. Man.
So-
I'm
so-
not a Vegas guy, to be honest with you.
Dude, but when you get
Yeah.
the chance to go, you got to realize that during NFR they have a thing called Cowboy Christmas out there.
Yeah.
So it's at the Las Vegas Expo Center. It's like 3 stories.
Okay.
And it's from back to front. It'll take you days to go through it.
Just
I mean,
Western
and it's
wear.
everything from 4 and 10 horse slants.
Yeah.
Every Western apparel company's there. You got boot makers, handcrafted hat makers. You got people that make furniture.
Yeah.
It's something to go see,
It's a
man.
big old. It's like
It's everything.
NWTF. Yeah.
And since they started selling alcohol inside, it's that much
God, I
better.
couldn't
Now they got
imagine.
little bars you
Get
can
a
go
bunch
to
of
and get
drunk cowboys.
beers. Oh, yeah, it's awesome. It's just awesome.
No, we'll make it out there for for one of these days. Vegas has never been my thing, man.
Vegas is about a 3-day deal for me.
Yeah.
In and out.
Yeah, it's not. It's if I'm doing a show there, it's good. But I ain't a big gambler or anything like that. I've never trusted myself. Sitting at a blackjack table or something. It's the math is really that ain't my thing, right? So I mean,
I got count to 21. It's not
yeah,
that
right.
much.
Yeah, but no, I will say a surprising place that I did like. We opened up for Alabama in Atlantic City,
Oh, yeah.
and it's almost like it's it's right by the beach and stuff like that. But you stay in the casino. Vegas, it's like you're casino hopping.
Yeah.
And but I liked it a little bit better. But yeah, Vegas is never
one of my
never
best
been my
nights
thing.
playing blackjack was with T. Roy out in Vegas, and I was up about $4,000, and they changed pictures on us.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, they took her out and brought this guy in, and then it got bad.
Then it got bad.
Then it got
None
bad.
of this surprises me.
No,
Too.
that's what they do. They change pictures on
Yeah,
it.
yeah, right. It So you got all right. So you got any wild stories about Dad though that he would never tell me?
That's a great question.
I don't.
Shut the camera off. Yeah, there you go.
I wish I did. We never really toured a lot together.
Yeah.
We did some shows here and there, but we were off doing our own thing,
Yeah.
man. We really were.
Yeah.
We did, and the industry stuff we were at, Blackburn was always there, and we had to be good.
Yeah, he tells some stories. Old Blackburn, man. He tells some stories about him.
He was a challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was difficult to
But
navigate
Atlantic,
around.
man, everything he's told me, it did for what it was. It seemed like a good place
It was
Yeah.
for a long time.
until it wasn't.
Until it wasn't.
Yeah.
Things run in 10-year cycles, man. It's
Yeah.
just the way it goes.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I don't think any of us made the right decisions coming out of that when Atlantic closed down. They said you can go here, and do this. And I went to Warner Brothers. I should have never gone to Warner Brothers.
Yeah, I think he went to Warner Brothers.
I think
too.
he did too, and neither one of
Yeah.
us made it very long. I don't think we had anything happen there.
No, they didn't.
Well, we didn't realize that Giant and Reprise and all the other Warner affiliates, Atlantic
Yeah.
and everything, they were all closing down at the same time too. So
Yeah.
they had this huge influx of artists.
Yeah.
And the staff didn't know what to do with any of us. So,
Well, that's hard. I mean, it's like when a label shuts down. When a label shuts down, or your champion leaves a label, man.
yeah.
That's like it's just the hardest thing to recover.
Whether that
from.
champion is the head of promotions or the head of A&R, or he's
Yeah.
a staff producer or whatever, when you lose that ally in that label, you might as well start looking for someplace
it's
else to
over.
go. Because
It's
it's over.
tough.
Because if they bring a new regime in, they want the people that they signed.
Yeah.
They want their acts that they
Everybody
control.
wants their
Everybody-
findings.
That's what they want.
Yeah,
And that's,
it, but that's the nature of the beast. You know?
but you just have to understand that going into it. You
You
got to
have to.
realize how that works. And it don't mean you're not talented or whatever. You just got to continue to find your own path.
That part of the ride's over. It's like you gotta move on. But no, hell, he always tells us. I can't remember what record it was, but he released a record, and it's awesome. And then the next week, old Rick calls him, "Hey, we're shutting down." Within 3 days, right? And it's like, well, what the hell? We're pushing a song on the radio. It's just, but it was a wild time back then too, man. I mean, from everything he's told me, it's like, even if you were in a good position, they'd still work you to death, man. It doesn't matter.
At this stage of my life, after going through all of it, that's a young man's game. When you get to our age, I couldn't do the workload. There's no way I could go on a radio tour and do all that stuff and still do 80, 90 shows a year. I'm physically.
Well,
not
your
capable.
voice couldn't hold up.
I couldn't handle it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how even, I don't even know how some of the younger guys' voices hold up. I mean,
They're not. I'm
Yeah.
hearing all over town people that are having voice problems that have been put on voice rest. It's happening everywhere.
Yeah.
It's the workload. It's the ear monitors. It's the shit we're breathing.
But now, we know now. I mean, it's, Dad, you'd go out, gallon of whiskey. It's party on the weekend, man.
Oh yeah.
And it'd be gone by Sunday. But now, we know now better how to take care of our voice. And I've had Dad beat it into my brain, man.
I'm telling you,
I mean-
I don't drink before the show. I mean, I stopped.
Yeah.
And usually, I mean, back in my day, I mean, we were drinking beer most of the day, and
Yeah.
started drinking whiskey or alcohol, heavy liquor and
Yeah.
stuff before the show. By the time you get done, you're rolling. Then you're kind of on that path. You step
Yeah.
on. I know. Now I come on, get done with the show, and maybe have a nightcap or two, and then I'm ready to go to bed. I'm not, I just had to make a lifestyle change.
Before the shows, it makes you pitchy. It dries you out.
It makes your ears ring.
Yeah.
makes you push too hard when
Yeah.
your ears start going numb because
Absolutely.
you got alcohol. I mean,
Yeah.
it just changes things.
No, it really does. It ain't good to do it.
I know. I ran into Dustin Lynch a while back. Maybe we were at some event. I said, "You want a beer or something?" He said, "Man, I'm on the wagon right now. I'm recording in a couple of months, so I'm not drinking until after I cut my record." I would have never done that.
No,
There's
drink
no
in
way
the
in hell.
studio,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. I mean,
Absolutely. Send somebody out to get me a pint of Crown or something.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's hell. I won't even have like milk a week before I go into the studio.
Really?
Yeah. But I mean, I've just got I know my voice, and it's like I know what it takes to make it sound studio
be the
ready.
best that it can be.
Yeah, you know, and it's not always going to be like that.
Yeah,
you know, it's and things change. Things are going to change where I'd like, all right, this isn't working anymore. I need to do this to make it the best that I can be. But it's right now I'm in a good spot where I can I figured it out on that end of it, and really, you know, really hone in on studio time. But like going on the road, man, I mean, it makes you a better singer, but it makes you lazy in the studio because you can't, you know, like I said earlier, nothing hides in the studio.
No,
but it can hide behind a SC mic, you know, and a big band right behind you and big speakers,
and a bunch of compression.
Yeah, I mean, no, you can hide a little pitchiness or something on a show or two, but once you're behind that Norman in that booth, it's over.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I've sure enjoyed the visit, my friend.
Appreciate you, buddy.
Yes, sir.
No doubt.
Give me all the information on your socials so everybody knows where to go
just
find
Walker
yourself.
Montgomery on everything. I think on Twitter I'm Walker Montgomery or whatever it is, but you can go on the website, check it out, and we got some new songs coming. I Love the Way You Love Me is out right now. I appreciate you, buddy.
Awesome. Always a pleasure, my friend. Thank you
No
much.
doubt.
Walker Montgomery.